Welcome back to NCTM Flipping Outliers, Achievement for ELLs and Students with Special Needs. In this short video, we are going to be going through CAST's Universal Design for Learning framework and seeing how the flipped classroom aligns very nicely with the 9 UDL guidelines. I'm hoping at this point you've been able to watch the previous videos. If you're unsure what Universal Design for Learning is, or the definition of the flipped classroom, or even how to apply the flipped classroom, especially in an all-inclusive classroom with ELLs and students with special needs, please go back and watch some of the previous videos, as it may answer some questions that arise as you're watching this video. So let's go ahead and get started. The UDL framework is designed in 3 tiers. Each tier has 3 guidelines that are broken down even further, which guide us in methods that we can use to remove the barriers in our classroom for many different types of students. In any given classroom or any given day, we would not be able to, nor is it advised to use all of these guidelines all at once. We need to apply them as needed to our classroom. However, when I was studying Universal Design for Learning over the past year, although it was not explicitly linked, the flipped classroom continually came to mind as fitting so many of these guidelines. So let's get started with number 1. The first tier provides multiple means of representation. The subcategories are offering ways of customizing the display of information, offering alternatives for auditory information, and offering alternatives for visual information. Using the flipped classroom combined with many in-class activities really aligns very well with this guideline. The use of videos outside of class, perhaps closed captioning and translation for those who need it, all ways to remove the barriers for students with special needs or English language learners. Second guideline provides options for language, mathematical expression, and symbols. This is something that as math teachers we do all the time, whether we use the flipped classroom or not. Using word banks, colorful text, clear pre-planned explanations, putting a lot of emphasis on syntax and structure in mathematics. Similarly, number 3 provides option for comprehension is all best practices. Math teachers generally activate or supply background knowledge with a good hook. We're going to be highlighting patterns, critical features, big ideas, and relationships. Using the flipped classroom can make this perhaps more potent by embedding videos into our lessons, or perhaps if copyright issues are a concern, we can just provide the links and they can directly click and look at videos that activate prior knowledge or serve as a good hook. The second tier is that we provide multiple means of action and expression. 4.2, optimize access to tools and assistive technology. My mind directly goes to online graphing calculators like Desmos, or teaching them how to use Wolfram Alpha or Google to help them through different math problems depending on their level. Even teaching them how to translate subtitles using YouTube or other means so that they can access the material quickly and easily. 5 provides options for expression and communication. The building fluencies with graduated levels of support for practice and performance is really built into the flipped classroom model. It's very easy to differentiate up or down in our practice, in our examples throughout the implementation of the model. Number 6, I put a big star in my paper as having very strong characteristics of the flipped classroom. Executive functioning is a topic that we often don't emphasize a lot in a typical classroom, but it is very necessary for student success. Some of the scheduling implementations that come with the flipped classroom, such as using an online calendar, sequencing the objectives, having the students earn test or assessment, and having students track their own learning and objectives. These are all ways to help the students self-monitor and build their executive functioning skills. Tier 3 provides multiple means of engagement, provide options for recruiting interest, optimize individual choice and autonomy, optimize relevance, value, and authenticity, minimize threats and distractions. This is another area that aligns very nicely with the flipped classroom. Even as a younger teacher, I don't think I can fully connect with how relevant and how potent digital media is to our students. Using the visual medium, students may be able to connect to the content much more readily than if it were in a typical textbook. In the area of choice and autonomy, the flipped classroom model allows them to choose their speed. Perhaps certain topics are worthy of more investigation and taking longer. Perhaps certain topics can go quicker. Students have the choice to determine how long and how much they're going to put into each topic. In addition, they can control their environment a lot more, minimizing the threats and distractions as needed. Perhaps home is a better place to do homework, perhaps it's not. Perhaps after school, perhaps in the hallway, perhaps on the bus. A well-designed flipped classroom model allows for lots of choice, autonomy, and lots of ways to minimize the threats and distractions. Number 8, providing options for sustaining effort and persistence is another area that I have highlighted at the big star on my paper. As we've mentioned in previous videos, the whole flipped classroom model is about training students to be learners and giving them the tools necessary. In the flipped classroom, we can train students to set, assess, and revise realistic goals as they're working through the content, as they are tracking their process. As mentioned before, we can build in differentiated practice, high-level or low-level questions, and as students are working together, collaboration in community and groups, perhaps even a peer-assisted learning strategy, PALS, it's very easy to integrate in the flipped classroom model. And under 8.4, increase mastery-oriented feedback, the flipped classroom is all about mastery-oriented assessment, mastery-oriented feedback. By passing the short assessments and tests, they are certain that they understand and have mastered the objectives. Number 9 provides option for self-regulation. It's not an area that I originally connected very much with the flipped classroom model, but I think there's something to be said about removing the fear of falling behind and failing. Providing options for a flexible timeline can increase hope. In 9.1, they define hope as expectation and beliefs that optimize motivation. In addition, 9.3, students are always having to self-assess and reflect on their learning. Do they know the content? How can I learn it better? Do I need to study more? Do I need to engage more? Do I need to ask questions? Or do I need to just move on? Thank you for watching this video. Please comment below if you can see any more connections in your flipped classroom to the UDL CAST models. Also be sure to look at the reference video for more information, an upcoming video that shows how to make your own videos using live screenshots and how to close caption your videos on YouTube. Have a good day. This is Eric.